Trends.
In one way or another, within fashion's endless subcultures, we're all impacted by trends. Whether it be sneakers or menswear, with avant-garde archetypes, or influences from tech and sports. Trends play an important role in helping define an era within fashion. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about what I think are some of my favorite and least favorite trends for the last year or so in 2021. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Drew What It Do, and for those of you who do know me, what up, squad? Alright, let's get into today's discussion-based video. Wait, one more thing. This entire video, I have to put this disclaimer in, is opinion-based, so if my opinion differs from your opinion, don't take it to heart. We all have valuable opinions. My opinion is not greater than your opinion. That's all I gotta say. Let's get into it. So like I said, I'm going to break this video down into two parts, talking about my favorite and then talking about my least favorite. Let's start with least favorite and then move to my most favorite towards the end of the video. Or I guess not end, just second half of the video. All right, you guys ready? It hurts me to say this, but one of my least favorite trends in recent times is the overhyped nature of the Jordan 1 and Nike Dunks. If you've been watching my videos for a decent amount of time, you'll notice that I don't have any Jordan 1s or any Nikes in my wardrobe, in my closet at all. So I may already have some bias against the brands, but oh well. The two models I'm talking about specifically when it comes to the overhyped nature of what I'd like to call the current state of sneaker culture is the Jordan 1 and Nike Dunk Lows. These shoes have been just absolutely ridiculously overhyped in my opinion, and it has caused me to have a little bit of a distaste for both of the silhouettes, even though I know both of them are pretty good. And being an ex-hooper, I guess I'm still a hooper, I get to hoop anybody up, but being a hooper, it's almost my birthright to like and to wear Jordan 1s and to like Jordans and to like Michael Jordan and all these things, right? But for me, in 2021, we live in such a time where it's such a commoditized shoe, and it's such a shoe that is being created for profit and for the exploitation of sneaker culture, making it the most hype thing in the world. Like, it has really turned me off to the Jordan 1 silhouette. And I'm not a huge Jordan fan in particular. Like, I've always liked the shoes from afar, but it's a little bit different in 2021 where you see all these people on social media talking about Jordans, only the repost pages reposting Jordans and things like that. And it's like you see it so many times, and it becomes such a thing that's so quote unquote mainstream, even though it really isn't. Like in the fashion world, it's mainstream, that you just don't want to wear. You don't like it as much. I kind of just went off on a tangent. Usually I read off my script. Usually I just went off on a tangent. And I think Nike and Jordan understand the value of the brand that they have. And to me, it seems like having a shoe that has high resale prices is more valuable to a lot of young people nowadays than it is to have a shoe with a quality story, or it has something that is, or having a shoe that has something that resonates with the individual, right? Today, it's more about the quality and about the hype and the price, excuse me. And one of the examples I want to give is the recent release of the Fragment Travis Jordan 1. Now, I think the colorway is cool. If this shoe came out without the collaboration, I think it's still a cool shoe. But what turns a lot of people, not a lot of people, because a lot of people want that shoe, but what turns me off about that shoe is that right now the shoe I think is being resold for, anywhere from $3,000 to $4,000. Like, that is insane. Who can afford to pay that money for a sneaker? And I understand, like, it's a luxury good, but it just turns me off. I don't know, I just don't like it. It's so hyped. It's so incredibly hyped that it's unattainable, and I don't understand the drive to want something that is so, like I said, I think it's about the price point is a badge for the shoe that validates it as something good in fashion and sneakers. Now, hold on. No shade to anybody who enjoys Jordan 1s or Dunk Lows. Like I said, they are pretty good looking shoes. They're very good looking shoes. Jordan 1s are classics. Dunk Lows have been around for a long time as well, and they're both really beautiful. But in the current zeitgeist of sneakers, I think there are so many amazing, fantastic brands doing fantastic work, whether it be New Balance, whether it be Vans, whether it be Doc Martens, which are not even sneakers, but I love me some Docs. There's so many people, or even like the smaller bootleg brands, whether it be Fugazi or Oray or Obra. All these people are doing fantastic and interesting work that I think is a little bit more inspired than what I'm seeing from Nike and Jordan. But I think it's also important to point out that even though I don't necessarily have an affinity or a liking towards the hype of the Jordan 1 and Dunk lows, it doesn't mean that it hasn't introduced a lot of new people into fashion. And that's kind of what I take from really hyped items. Like, I'm not sitting on a high horse and saying, oh, look at all these people wearing Jordan 1s and Dunk lows. No, I mean, if you like that, I'm not going to judge you based on the fact that you like something. Like, you enjoy what you enjoy it. Continue to enjoy it is what I'm trying to say. And I think for hyped sneakers and hyped items, I think they have a place in fashion. When I was young, I was introduced into sneakers and fashion and things like that from the hyped items and the nature of hype. I think a lot of people are, whether it be from Supreme or from Yeezy. Like, when I was coming up, like, I was like, oh my gosh, what it would be to have a pair of 350 Boosts, like the original, like the first Adidas collaboration. And like, it was so cool. As a young person, you're like, oh, this is so cool. And you know, as you get older, and as I've gotten older, at least, I've kind of developed and refined my style ever so slightly to like different things that reflect who I am as an individual, more so than just playing to the hype. Which I think when you play to the hype, or when you have something that's hyped, there's no individuality in it when it comes to styling and personal styling. And I think fashion is such a personable kind of art form that the more you can dive into and dial up the personability and dial up the storytelling and dial up the intimacy between you and the clothing, the better it'll be, right? And this kind of leads me into the second thing that I have a little bit of a distaste for, or one of my least favorite things when it comes to the trends over the last year or so. And I don't even know if this is really from the last year or so, but it's being pretentious, or like I said, being on a high horse about the fact that you like the things that you enjoy, and you kind of poke fun at or make fun of other things that you don't enjoy or you don't like. At the end of the day, fashion is a means to an end. And what I mean by that is all people want the same thing. I mean, you, me, we all want the same thing. We all want to be happy. We want to live fulfilled lives, and we want to dress well if we're into fashion, right? It's just something we like. And whether it's in fashion, whether it's in gaming or in tech or in sports, the thing that we do isn't who we are. It's a means to achieving a level of fulfillment and happiness in our lives. So each person, whether it be fashion or, for example, whether it be in classical art or whatever, everyone's gonna like different things. There's no reason for us to all like the exact same thing. And so for someone to dictate whether or not you are a good or you are a valuable person within a community because of the things that you like, I just can't get down with that. It just doesn't resonate with me at all. No matter how much I like New Balance, just because I like New Balance doesn't mean that it's better than Nike intrinsically. You know what I mean? It's not better than Nike. I like New Balance. It doesn't mean I'm above anybody who likes Nike or Jordan or whatever, right? I think the old saying is different strokes for different folks. And if you judge people, or if you act as though you're above people because you can afford X, Y, and Z brand, or you understand maybe the personal value of buying from XYZ brand, and you demean the people who like another brand that is less expensive, like I said, I can't get down with it. It's just something that in my like heart of hearts just kind of bothers me. And this is why I also started to create this channel, man, because I feel like we live in a world today that has so much negativity around it, and it seeps into every industry. It's not just fashion. So it could be, like I said before, in tech and video games and sports and in media. Those are the things I watch a lot of content and listen to a lot of content in. And so, but I'm trying to bring the positive energy towards a space and in a world that has a lot of negativity going on. And I know that really doesn't have anything to do with trends, but I gotta say it, bro. This one's also gonna hurt. My least favorite trend for this video is gonna be the Carhartt Wave. So it's not as though that I dislike Carhartt or Carhartt pants or jackets, right? As some of you may know, some of the best videos on my channel are me talking about Carhartt, whether it be ripstop cargos or double knees or Carpenter pants or just Carhartt in general. But this is where my kind of personal opinion really steps in and my personal kind of value set steps in. When it comes to Carhartt, I feel like it's a bit inauthentic to who I am as an individual, right? I grew up playing basketball and sports, right? Majority of my life, I kind of wore things that were much more kind of athleisure, that were more loungewear. And, you know, when I was working or when I was kind of putting myself through physical activity, it wasn't in the Carhartt way. It was in the basketball on the court kind of way, like running sprints and running hills and things like that. And I'm not wearing a pair of double knees when I need to run up a hill and practice my jump shot. And so, yes, while my style has evolved over time and I'm not necessarily wearing things for basketball anymore, I think it's still a core into who I am as an individual and what I like to wear. I like to wear things that are comfortable. I like to wear things that still reflect that little bit of athleticism while also having a little bit of classiness in what I wear. And so hopefully that's reflected in some of my outfits, and that's what I'm moving towards, right? And I'm exploring different things as well. And I explored Carhartt. That's the thing about fashion that's beautiful. I explored what Carhartt had to offer, and I explored what outfits I could pull off with my Carhartt pants. And I think that they're still great pants. I still like the pants. I like the way they fit. I understand how they fit. And without them, I wouldn't understand how I like my pants to fit moving forward if I didn't have a relatively low price point pant to buy into, to now where I can say, okay, I like the way the double knees fit. I like the way they kind of sit on my shoe. Where can I find a pant like that moving forward? So while it's one of my least favorite trends in terms of like, yeah, for me, it's a little bit inauthentic. And I think for a lot of people it is, but I think what it's doing and what I've seen even on TikTok, which, you know, some people hate TikTok, but what I've even seen on TikTok talk about is you learn about proportions, and you can kind of learn about how something feels on your body, you know, when you're introduced to certain items and brands. And I think Carhartt is good for that. But what I don't like for myself, and I can't speak for everybody, right? But for myself, it's a little bit inauthentic to wear the brand and, you know, wear Jordan 1s with it or Dunks with it. They kind of correlate, right? No hate, no shade on anybody. It's just your boy's opinion. And I think also that the skinny jean kind of wave happened, and a lot of people didn't like skinny jeans, me being one of those people. And maybe I'd try it again, because as I was a young kid growing up, you know, your body changes. So like I was going through changes. I was a little bit chubbier when I was younger, had a little bit more baby fat on a boy, and your body just has a harder time, in my opinion, like finding and wearing clothes and like things feeling natural, and you're changing and your voice is changing and all these things are going on. So like it was a tumultuous time as an upbringing for clothing for me when skinny jeans were popping off, and I tried it. It just wasn't really me, right? And I'm so glad that I can wear some straight fit or some wide or some flared pants, because it just feels and looks better in my opinion. But it's about self-awareness. If you wear skinny jeans, you enjoy skinny jeans, kudos to you. Like, you are a part of another subculture, a subgroup of fashion that actually enjoys something that the masses has kind of rejected. And that's really, really cool, honestly. Like, the ability to say like, oh no, I still rock with skinnies. I still can pull off skinnies. I still enjoy skinnies and wear them. That to me is just as cool, maybe even cooler than, way cooler than me trying to wear skinnies, even though it wasn't really for me, right? Like, the fact that you have that self-awareness is dope. All right, let's flip the switch. Let's talk about some trends that your boy's been a fan of for the last year or so. Let's get into it. Starting off, and this has been kind of a revelation for me, and I feel like it's been a kind of revelation for the last 5 so years, but it has been the fantastic, and I do mean fantastic, work of these smaller kind of niche brands on Instagram. Absolutely one of my favorite trends. I've never heard anyone really talk about this in depth, but there are so many businesses being born because of the power of the internet right now, and a lot of people are doing really fantastic work. Some of my favorite out of the New York area include Ore NYC, Boy Blondie, Tyler De Rafa. Some of my favorite on the West Coast include Ferrer, Gardens and Seeds. And I always bring up my man Sebastian Molina's small, very small brand, but I just got support and love for the man's, like, his brand for Marco, which hopefully comes out with more things, does more things. Sebastian, if you see this, continue to work, man. All these small brands, I think the trend, or I guess if you want to call it a trend, it's the ability to actually create products at scale, doing a good job in an era that is basically allowing you to do that. Like you couldn't do this 20, 30 years ago. It's just not possible, like, to market yourself on the internet, create product, have sales, and build an empire. And I think there's so much opportunity in the world of fashion right now because of the bigger fashion brands. They've taken a pretty heavy hit because of COVID-19. And I think about Barney's, and I think about some of these other super, noteworthy fashion houses and fashion departments that have just taken a hit because of COVID-19. And I think there's a lot of opportunity, and I think people want community. People want to niche down. People want to support something that is a little bit underground and that resonates with them more than like these giant companies. I think they do, at least. And so I think some of these brands are an example of that, right? So the next thing I want to talk about is something that's kind of had a steady growth and can just continue to grow over the years, and it is the vintage, thrift, secondhand kind of marketplace where you're able to buy clothing that has been previously used, but it still has value. And I love that. Right now I'm wearing a vintage crew neck that I've been wearing. I'm gonna be honest with you, I've been wearing this crew neck every day for the last like 2 or 3 days. And I think vintage and buying secondhand and thrifting has been around for a long time. Buying like archival pieces has been on the rise and things of that nature. I'm not really so much into like, oh bro, like the archive Rick, like you gotta check this out, or bro, I got a pair of 1901 Levi's orangutan orange tabs. Like, no, I'm just playing, that's just a joke, but but you know what I'm saying? Like, obviously there are people who love this stuff, like to the point where they're really collecting, I love that. Like, anyone who's willing to go that like extra step to find out about clothing in a non-pretentious but just in a passionate way, like, it's just fun to see. It's just like with anything else, whether you collect Pokemon cards or if you love watching Quentin Tarantino movies, like if you have that kind of nerdy kind of feel and jive about you, like you really dig deep into the clothing, which I think a lot of people who are in vintage and who are selling vintage or secondhand or archive stuff do that. I don't know, there's something about that I have a very strong connection to, because I personally I like to nerd out about a lot of things in fashion and media and sports, and so like it just resonates with me. I think we also are all recognizing that clothing has an environmental impact, right? And the environmental impact that it continues to have on all of us is the waste and the excess and the water used. And so if you can find something that is secondhand, you're essentially creating a somewhat of a closed loop system, right, where we don't have to produce more and cause more harm and all those kind of things, which I think is important and something that is talked about, isn't talked about, isn't like not everybody talks about it, right? Last, I want to talk to you guys about something that I feel like has mixed opinions on right now. People have mixed opinions on this, and it's not necessarily a trend, but it definitely is something that I feel like could become a trend, or it could become the norm in the future. And I don't really have a title for this, but so I'm just gonna call it the post-sneaker world of pre-ordering your kicks. Okay, that's what I'm gonna call it, right? And what do I mean by this? And so one of my favorite companies, as you guys know, is ALD, which is Aimé Leon Dore. And recently they just did a pre-order system for the 650s, in which anyone could cop. Every person who made an account with ALD could cop. So I don't know how many they're gonna produce. It could be 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, 40,000. They're gonna be able to cop the shoe. I like the idea, right? Where people have their reservation is that, yeah, you get to cop the shoe, but you have to wait 8 months for the shoe to come in. So it's supposed to come out, in February, March, or April of 2022. Right? And some people don't like that. They don't like having to wait. But for me personally, I think that there's something really, really special about a pre-order system for sneakers and a sneaker culture and in a world, not just sneakers, but fashion, clothing, garments. Those are all the same things. So kind of referencing back to the Jordan 1s and the Dunks, we live in a world where all of those kind of sneakers that are overly hyped, and now Aimé Leon Dore and New Balance have become a little bit overly hyped, even though your boy's been rocking with them since 2017. Like, wasn't hyped like this in 2017. But anyways, things that are hyped, they sell out quickly, people get upset, right? No one likes that. So I think the pre-order system does offer some solace to those who actually want to acquire the goods that they enjoy. It takes away the kind of badge of, oh, this costs $5,000 and I'm better than you, or I was able to get it and I can kind of hold that over other people's heads, or I can either afford afford to pay $5,000 to get it. It kind of brings everyone down to an even playing field when, oh, everyone can get the shoe. It's not about the price point. It's more so about whether or not you like it or you don't like it. And I think that is like a really interesting distinction, I think, in today's fashion and sneaker world. Do I like this item, or will this item look good and will people praise me for having this item? Essentially, will I get more love and attention because of this item? And I think a lot of people make the decision based on the fact that, oh, this is what's hot, I want to be wearing what's hot right now, according to the main zeitgeist of what's hot in fashion. And if I get this item, I'll get praised, social media likes, etc., etc. But like I said, the timing, having to wait 8 months, is a pain. And so I want to bring up an interesting example of how I think that this can improve in the future and bring more value to customers moving forward. I can't remember what year. I'm going to bring up Adidas's speed factories. And one of the things that, I mean, I'm not like, I didn't read or do the research before, so I'm kind of ad-libbing this. So if I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong down in the comment section. But essentially, Adidas had this idea, right, to be able to essentially map out your foot and to have one of their speed factories produce the shoe in such a short amount of time that they would map out your foot in store. You would place your order for the shoe and it would be, you know, at your doorstep in a week's time, right? And that is an interesting dynamic of sneaker production. That's technology, and that's the ability to manufacture. And the problem with ALD that I see a lot of people are saying is that it's going to take so long. What if ALD had the same system, pre-order system, right? But instead of the fact that they had to wait 8 months because it takes time to produce it and factories and etc., etc. And maybe this even increases the price of the shoe, what I'm talking about. But maybe instead of 8 months, it takes a week, it takes 2 weeks. I don't see how there is a faulty in the pre-order system if it were to take that short amount of time, right? Like if it was possible. Like what would be the flaws of a pre-order system if it only took a week or 2 weeks for the actual shoe to come in the mail after you made the order of the pre-order? And I think technology could potentially catch up, and we're talking about manufacturing, and I'm not an expert on, you know, shoe manufacturing and things like that, but I had an epiphany, right? And I believe maybe one day we pre-order something, you know, all those who want it can get it. I mean, I don't think Nike or Jordan would do something like this. Obviously New Balance and ALD is doing something like this, but pre-order something, it comes in the mail in 2 weeks, you have it, and you actually can enjoy a product that you admire and you appreciate. Anyway, that's a lot of babbling for your boy. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. What trends did I miss? Tell me, what did I miss? I know I can't talk about everything. I don't even know how long this video is gonna be. I'm probably guessing this video is probably in the 11-minute to 17-minute range, which is about where I wanted it to be. So if I missed any trends, comment them down below. Maybe I'll do a follow-up video. Maybe we can just continue the conversation down in the comment section, because I do enjoy these discussion type videos, bro. Like, this is a lot of fun for me to do, and it's a lot of fun for me to just kind of let my brain feel loose and just talk about some of the things that I feel are happening within the space, right? As always, I'm spreading peace, love, and positivity in 2021. So that means I'm spreading peace, love, and positivity to you wherever you are in the world. Have a wonderful rest of your day, for real. I'll be on tour for those who speak French, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Oh yeah, before I forget, I have some incredibly exciting stuff for you guys coming up in the next weeks. And so August is going to be a really fun month for the channel. If you aren't subscribed, I don't like begging for people to subscribe to the channel. You know what I'm saying? I don't like begging. I like to be a little bit witty with it. So, but at the end of this video, if you aren't subscribed and you made it to this point in the video, that tells me that maybe you want to subscribe to the channel. Maybe you want to see a little bit more of Drew What It Do and engage in this community, man. So if you do, subscribe to the channel, like the video. I'll see you guys in the next one, like I said before, and have a blessed rest of your week.